1984. Ever. That dysfunctional societal model that is being pushed, and day by day they scramble for the contracts, laws and regulations to make it so. The Ministry of Monitoring getting ready to be legally involved in your most intimate online communications and daily routines. Like they weren't already, but now it's out there for everyone to see and be aware of. That's what they meant by transparency, not so you get to know about or stop wrongdoings, and know what all levels of society are doing. And by exposing the worst of it, helps to encourage people to call for their own censorship and monitoring, perhaps thinking that for the sake of stopping the bad, we all have to be monitored and give up freedoms. It meant they would be transparent about taking away your rights, and that you no longer have a say in anything corporate or democratic. Knowingly allowing them to take them away because they told you it was for the greater good. And to be honest, it kind of looks now that it was all an illusion of democracy and freedom that was in place, where they led us all down a merry path, and hardly anyone noticed the twists and turns blindsiding and distracting us until we find ourselves here. A dead end of war, greed and ideological wants. An almost startling breakdown of what once was has occurred in what happens to be a very short time span, and those who used to appear to serve the public very clearly no longer do. I find it strange that while showing they are no longer competent, they continue to wield power. When you all know someone has no authority or power in real life, but everyone pretends and perpetuates the delusion. I can see very much why people likened it all in the beginning to the Emperor's New Clothes. And this is why perhaps stories, fairy tales, and other sayings and metaphors stay with us through generations and centuries, to remind those who face strange, perilous, dark and unsavoury times or people, that others have been there too. In a situation of their time, of course, but the general threads of observations and realisations sometimes are not time specific, being relatable even after hundreds of years, because the general greed of tyranny and the power-hungry enslavers is also timeless and runs seamlessly through the ages. Until now. It seems as though the seams are splitting as they try and pull it together, and the whole ugly bag is looking like it's going to collapse and disintegrate. And of course, I have already wondered how much of the entertainment and propaganda over the decades is there to help program you towards their goal in prep for disaster or clever programming. But that is a double-edged speculation, of course, because while it may be they create the mental landscape required for a certain level of acceptance, it can be used to create a hesitancy and fear against something which ultimately may be good, steering you away from the ideas of advancement because you think it means enslavement. But whatever the methods and techniques used to achieve the sleeping masses for decades, you can't deny it seemed to work. Slowly infiltrating each aspect of people's lives, being part of your life from cradle to grave, as they put it. Doesn't sound so friendly, helpful and benign anymore now, does it? Not once you know how much money you can generate for the system throughout that journey, covered in what are we worth. Being able to educate, feed and heal yourself means they are not involved at all. Hence why we now seem to have a staggering amount of rules and laws to limit people's ability to be outside of that system. All the institutions are there to take away responsibility from you, and to then be responsible for you in whichever way they see fit. And you can see if you look around, how many people are still looking to someone or something for guidance, as they have been trained to. Even still not quite being able to fully extract themselves from thinking they are there to help. Expectations need to be updated, and quickly, because what was no longer is, and a new way is coming. It's just looking a bit precarious of what that might actually be.